Growing up, we all frequently heard that we should always pick on someone our own size. But what if someone way smaller is just begging to be picked on? So much so that they could literally challenge us to a duel. Well, that's precisely what happened when newcomer and YouTuber Deji decided to enter the ring against Floyd Mayweather Jr. And fans were not too pleased about it. For starters, is Deji about to get baptized? If you're a boxing fan, there's no way that you haven't heard of the king of the ring, Floyd Mayweather. Mayweather has quite literally taken the world of boxing by storm ever since he first debuted in 1996. After a mind-blowing career that lasted from 96 to 2017, he decided to change the trajectory of his life and shift to fighting only on occasion. We don't blame him. After giving over 2 decades of your life to the sport, a man's gotta raise a family too, right? But his first love is clearly still the ring, because no matter how many times he leaves, he just keeps coming back. But before we get distracted and start fangirling over our favorite alpha male, it's better to stay on track and tell you all about the latest developments. That's what you're here for after all. Okay, so how many of you have heard of Deji, the YouTuber? That guy who got his butt kicked by the internet's most overgrown man-child? Yes, folks, we're talking about Jake Paul. Well, apparently this little bird has grown quite the wings, because even though he hatched out of his egg just now, he's ready to soar high enough to stand face-to-face with potentially the most accomplished fighter alive at this point in time. You heard it right, folks. Deji is all set to come face-to-face with Mayweather in the upcoming Misfits boxing cards in either October or November. Will we witness the fall of this newbie this fall? Only time will tell. The best judge of any sport is the fans that make the audience of that sport. We feel as if not enough credit is given to us. After all, it's our years of consistent effort and dedication that keep the sports alive. A king isn't really a king without his followers. In the same light, sports champions aren't really championed without their little cults of fangirls and fanboys hanging on their every word. We say all of this to remind you of what we bring to the table when it comes to live sports. And for all of this, our opinions should hold some value, right? We'd hoped so. And the verdict that fans of exhibition fighting have made about this match is what we've been thinking all along, that this match is truly a mismatch and is quite frankly embarrassing for both of them. The thing is, Mayweather has weathered all the challenges of his career so far. The man has a 50-0-0 record. Deji's single win record, in contrast to this, seems almost a joke. Now, we're not trying to rain on his parade. Of course, Deji may have a lot of potential to grow into a great fighter one day, but is he at that level yet? The fans would likely believe that he's not, and perhaps that's why he's become the butt of so many Twitter attacks recently. Coming up are the funniest things that fans have said so far. Now, it would be really unfair of us to just tease you all about the Twitter attacks that Deji had to face without sharing some of the funniest ones that we witnessed online. But before we get into that, let's give you all some context about who this man even is, because if you're not quite sure, we don't really blame you. Deji is literally best known for 2 things. 1, his video gaming abilities, and 2, his clownery. And no, we don't mean this in a demeaning way. The man literally garnered his 10 million plus followers by being a renowned prankster. And hey, the world needs more people that can make us laugh. But does that mean that the man chooses to become the laughingstock of the internet by picking a fight against a man with decades of experience? He quite literally just had his first win against Fusi. And sure, yes, he did quite well in that match, but fans are really not confident in his abilities against the baptizer himself. Here's what a few of them had to say. One fan remarked that for someone who isn't even on the list of top 10 YouTube boxers, the man has some nerve going up against a legend. Another thought that the match was just humiliating for both of them, while another one just predicted the outcome of the match already and said that Mr. Deji is about to get baptized. Up next, what makes the fans so sure? Well, folks, it looks like the fans have given their verdict on the outcome of the match already, and we feel as if perhaps they're being a little too harsh. Whatever the outcome of the match is, Deji does deserve some respect for the sheer nerve he's displaying. Not everyone is so willing to get their butt kicked this publicly. Okay, we're kidding. Who knows, right? Maybe the wins can be in Deji's favor that day, but that seems unlikely given Mayweather's history. The thing is, Mayweather is quite literally the master of his art. He has an undefeated streak and retired on that streak even after 20 years of being in the ring. He was almost hailed the fighter of the decade back in 2010 and has won a total of 15 championships. Doesn't seem likely that a freshie would be able to beat him, but then again, stranger things have happened. Who knows? Maybe Deji would rewrite history. Next, in other news, at least Paul Logan has faith in Deji. Phew! While the entirety of the internet has constantly plagued Deji with self-doubt, he may have a secret, not so secret supporter. The thing is, we all just want one person to have faith in us. Having that one person who believes in us, even as the rest of the world doubts us, is sometimes enough to get us through the toughest of battles. And whether weather the greatest of storms. But then again, what matters most is who the person is. In this case, the man who has Deji's back is a fellow YouTuber and opponent, Logan Paul. And then again, Logan Paul doesn't have the best past precedent for being the most aware individual. But hey, the man did just compete with Deji in the ring, and on the basis of that match, which was declared inconclusive by the way, he claimed that Deji is one of the top 5 boxers of this time. That's right, Mr. Mayweather, you may have been the best of the decade back in 2010, but it's 2022 now, and times have changed, and you've grown older too. At least that's what Paul believes. This makes him almost certain that Deji is going to knock Floyd off his feet. How accurate his prediction is something we'll all have to wait and find out. Coming up, Mike Tyson is unimpressed with Jake. You see, if you're a man as popular and as important as Mike Tyson, it'll probably be very difficult to impress you. This is a man who has seen it all. He's been there and done that. And so can we really blame him for not being fully enthusiastic or invested in Jake Paul's sparring match? We mean, let's face it guys, even though we aren't fully invested. And we can't really blame Tyson for not respecting Jake as much. You see, in the world of the ring, respect is something that has to be earned. Mike Tyson has dedicated years of his life to this sport. He is not only a heavyweight champ, but also a boxing savant. His passion stems from the fact that boxing quite literally saved his life from a life of crime and bloodshed. Now imagine owning your life to a sport that you feel is not being taken seriously by the upcoming generation. Even you'd be disappointed, no? That explains why recently, when Mike Tyson entered the Wildcard Gym in Los Angeles and found out that Jake Paul was already there giving an interview, he felt the need to leave immediately. Now we don't exactly know what aspect of Paul is a trigger for Tyson, but hey, knowing him, it can be one of many. And lastly, Roy Jones blames the Mayweather effect for boxing's decline. This one sounds almost oxymoronic. How can the world's greatest boxer of now be the reason why the sport has suffered a decline, right? If anything, he helped set a precedent for the upcoming generations. So many new boxers aspire to be like him, but it turns out that isn't such a good thing all the time. Roy Jones recently pointed out that one consequence of the Mayweather idolization is that boxers are so anxious to maintain their undefeated streak that in an attempt to do so, they end up not challenging one another at all. This reduces the competitiveness of the sport. He may have a point, to be honest. That's it for today, folks. Who do you think is going to win the fight between these two? Comment down below and let us know your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and we'll see ya in the next one.